A gas leak causes an explosion and sends 3 people to the hospital tonight, the latest from outside a condo complex in Gatlinburg. Nearly 7 years after a massive fire destroyed part of the McClung warehouses, another huge blaze. What this means for planned renovation of the buildings moving forward. 3 boys are rescued after falling into an icy lake. Tonight, we hear from those who pulled them to safety.
It's going to be a very wet Super Bowl Sunday. I'll tell you exactly when you can expect that rain coming up.
WTNZ Knoxville, Fox 43, 10 o'clock news starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Jennifer Meckles. 3 people are in the hospital tonight after a gas leak caused an explosion at a Gatlinburg condominium complex. Firefighters responded to the explosion just before 7:30 tonight at the Treetop condos that's less than a mile off of Highway 321 in Gatlinburg. Crews have contained the fire, but they are still on the scene working right now. That's where we find reporter Jeff Mondlock. He just got to the scene. Jeff, what have you learned so far?
What we've learned so far is that 3 people were sent to the hospital, 1 by Lifestar, 2 by just an ambulance, but that the firefighters had the fire under control from the explosion around 8:20 tonight. Now with me is Greg Miller, the fire chief with Gatlinburg Fire Department here. Can you tell me what's the situation like right now?
Jeff, basically the situation right now is under control. The fire is out. Any of the utilities have been disconnected. And we've got crews that are doing some damage assessment. We're doing some salvage and overhaul operations. We're removing people's personal belongings for the unaffected rooms that the property here has relocated them to other rooms, and they were able to relocate all of the people involved. So it's just an ongoing process, and we're trying to do our recon and a little bit of cleanup here to get the scene completely under control.
Now, how many people were actually affected and had to evacuate the area here?
We were advised there were approximately 35 people staying in the area of the explosion in the adjoining rooms, and they have all been relocated within treetops to vacant units.
Now, I know you guys are still in the assessment process right now of the damage and everything, but do you have any ideas or any leads on what could have caused this explosion?
Actually, we do not. Like I said, we're still under investigation. We've got the utility companies that are on the scene helping us. We've got our fire and arson investigators that are here. There was no preliminary calls for any odor investigation or any odor leaks or gas leaks or anything like that. It's a suspected gas explosion, but it's too early to tell until the official investigation is complete.
All right, well, thanks for being here with us. We will have more updates as they become available to us. Reporting live from Gatlinburg, Jeff Mondlock, Fox 43, 10 o'clock news.
All right, Jeff Mondlock on the scene for us. Thank you so much. Switching gears now, firefighters in Knoxville spent their day working a massive fire in downtown Knoxville. It happened at the historic McClung warehouses on Jackson Avenue between Broadway and Gay Street. It's the same site where almost exactly 7 years ago, another fire initially destroyed the property. Today's fire started early this morning and quickly grew to an inferno, shooting flames well above the rooftop. People living in nearby apartments were temporarily evacuated from their homes. Dozens of firefighters fought the blaze all morning into the day in the cold and freezing temperatures.
You see the embers actually hitting other buildings. I was standing, I think, close enough to actually feel some of the embers falling down, kind of like rain.
Today, another building came down. Only 2 remain standing. At a press conference this morning, fire officials say they do not know the exact cause of the fire. Arson investigators were on the scene today.
Said we feel like that there is human activity, whether it was accidental, intentional, that a person or person was involved.
Now, 7 years ago next week, another massive fire tore through the McClung properties, destroying 2 buildings and leaving 3 firefighters injured. You're looking at that video from 2007 now. The city of Knoxville bought the vacant property last year. They had big plans to redevelop the entire block. So now the focus turns to the future of the McClung warehouses after today's fire. And there are a lot of unanswered questions about when and if they can be sold and as the original plans from the city. WBIR 10 News reporter Steve Butera has some of those answers for us tonight. Steve?
Hi, Jen. Well, if this fire didn't happen, a city was actually planning to start opening bids for private developers to take over the property. But with this, those plans may be put on hold.
And I looked out the window and I just could not believe that we were having a repeat of what happened 7 years ago.
Especially since it looked like there was a brighter future ahead for the McClung warehouse. However, the bright view of the glowing embers caused another twist in this centuries-old landmark.
Trying to find solutions and bring them back to life because they definitely had so much potential, especially before the first fire.
Kim Trent with Knox Heritage says the city of Knoxville has been making progress on starting that rebuilding process, wanting to preserve the historical integrity and not tearing down the once remaining 3 buildings, now down to 2.
If it is possible, we'll continue with this process. There will just be one fewer building, the existing, and for there to be a proposal on it.
In a press conference earlier Saturday, the city says they were hoping a private developer would turn the property into mixed-use purposes, meaning residential and commercial use. They were soon going to accept proposals from these private developers. Trent says the timetable was to potentially exchange hands by year's end.
And trying to figure out where we are with the condition of the buildings. I mean, it very well could be that they are beyond salvaging at this point, so I think everyone wants to get everything settled down on the site and then see where we are with their structural integrity.
And until that's decided, the only movement here are the fire trucks that continue to douse these flames. And Trent, as you saw there with Knox Heritage, plan to meet with the city as early as next week to see where they can go with the process from there with this building. Jen.
All right, thank you so much, Steve. And we have much more on the history of the warehouses online, as well as a photo gallery from pictures you, our viewers, have sent in today. So be sure to visit our website, WBIR.com. You can check those out and also continue following this story. Quick action by an East Tennessee pastor and his son helped save 3 boys who fell through ice today at Watts Bar Lake in Roane County.
And I believe with all my heart that God's hand was on that situation. I mean, that was just, it's amazing to me. So.
Neil Crass says his neighbor and 2 of the neighbor's friends were fishing at the lake when he says the 3 boys went out onto the ice. The ice cracked and the boys fell into the frigid waters. Those kids were able to grab a buoy and stay afloat until help arrived. Crass, who is the pastor of Big Emery Church, and his son got in their boat and quickly came to the rescue.
People call him said somebody hero or something like that, but we were just 2 guys with a duck boat that was able to get out there and help these kids make it out. I'm just glad God let us do that.
The victims were sent to UT Medical Center. At last check, one of the boys was listed in serious condition and the other 2 are in stable condition. We will have much more from the pastor at 11 over on 10 News Night Beat. You can find that on Channel 10. Hundreds of people got free medical, dental, and vision care today at remote area medical clinics in East Knoxville. Volunteers say people started lining up overnight for today's clinic at the Jacob Building in Chilhowie Park. Inside, doctors, dentists, and optometrists served more than 500 people with free physicals, teeth cleanings, and vision testing. Ram says these clinics are so important for some patients because it could be the only way they can get medical attention. The clinic will be open again tomorrow.
Regardless, some people who are employed are really underinsured. So the dental side and the vision side is a large part of about 95% of the folks that come want that service. So it is very important because even with some of the working public, they still need those services they can't afford.
The clinic will be open again tomorrow, and they expect to serve another 300 people. More than 1,000 people today fed their sweet tooths while also supporting local vendors and an East Tennessee charity. I guess it's sweet teeth, isn't it there? 40 vendors handed out tasty treats today during Chocolate Fest. That was at the Knoxville Expo Center. Organizers say the event used to be a local tradition, but it stopped happening about 4 years ago.
And Larry with Sugar Bakers and Jennifer with Night Moon Productions has brought it back and chose us to support. So we're very excited about that. It's just one more way to raise awareness for childhood cancer.
Our very own Abby Ham and Moira Kay served as judges today. You can see them at the corner of the table there, along with former Channel 10er Miss Erin Donovan. Around 1,500 people bought tickets to the event. All the proceeds benefit the Butterfly Fund. That is an organization that supports research dedicated to the defeat of childhood cancers. It's a great cause. A trio of country music stars is offering their condolences to a family in a very meaningful way. The band Perry, which has, of course, very deep roots here in East Tennessee, has stepped up to help a family that lost 9 loved ones in a South Kentucky fire last week. The band announced on their Facebook this week they are covering the funeral costs for the mother, Nikki Watson, and her 8 children who all died in the fire. We are coming right back after this. Stay with us.